The family of Paul Whelan has done everything possible to keep his name in the press, making sure he wasn't forgotten. Earlier today, I spoke with his twin brother, David Whelan, about how this all unfolded, the family's reaction, and what happens next. David, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure it's been an extraordinary day for you and your entire family. If you could first just describe that moment when you learned the exchange was successful, Paul was free, and would soon be coming home.
It was relatively late this morning. I was being very cautious until I saw an announcement from the White House that Paul was free and that he was on his way back. We had been through 2 prisoner releases before where he had not come home. So despite the growing media announcements and speculation overnight and even into this morning that an exchange was happening and that Paul was going to be a part of it, I didn't really allow myself to believe that it was going to happen until I saw that announcement by the White House. And of course, we're overjoyed and hope to actually see him soon.
You noted in your statement today that Paul had been detained for more than 2,000 days. Describe this emotional roller coaster, the ups and downs, as other prisoners were released from custody, but Paul remained in Russia.
I think it's difficult. You want to be generous. You are happy to see other people freed. But you do start to wonder, and I think we were concerned that as time went on, Paul was going to become one of those insolvable cases. I think additionally, with Russia, there were so few concessions that the U.S. government could make that the Russian government seemed to want that I think we didn't have very high hopes that this was ever going to happen.
How difficult has it been for you and your family to keep that hope alive for all these years?
I think you do your best for your family member. If you have a sibling or a parent, you want to support them as much as you can. And if they're in a dire circumstance, whether it's something like what Paul experienced or even just, like a difficult illness, you want to do what you can and keep hope alive so that they have the best life or the best outcome possible. And I think the difficulty in these sorts of situations is that the family has so little control over what's happening. Paul was a pawn of the Russian government and became part of a geopolitical fight that really has nothing to do with Paul or our family or anything that he did. So I think we just, do our best to keep our hope up.
Now, we know there is a process here, but when do you hope the family will get to see him again?
That's really up to Paul. And I think we have been very determined, as of today even, not to get in Paul's way. He has been held hostage and been told what to do by the Russian government for 5.5 years. And it's time for him to have his own agency now. So we are hoping that he will spend time in the post-isolation unit down, I think it's in Texas, as much time as he needs in order to get medical checkups, get himself reoriented. So we're hoping he'll take that time and maybe get a chance to have our parents come down and see him, or at least be able to meet up with our parents soon.
And David, we know that you and the rest of your family will be there with him through every step of the way. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, and hopefully you get that family reunion very soon.
Thanks very much for having me.
Again, our thanks to David Whelan. And we'll have live coverage of the former prisoner's historic return later tonight, right here on ABC.